Hello, and welcome to the Advanced Paralegal Certificate Course informational webinar from the Center for Legal Studies. If you're a working paralegal or currently earning your paralegal certificate and interested in taking the next step in your professional development by learning the specialized skills that hiring firms are looking for, you're in the right place. We'll get started in just a minute to allow all of our attendees to get logged on. Our webinar today will start with a presentation from our Business Development Director at the Center for Legal Studies, Stephanie Elio. Following the presentation, we'll be here for about 15 minutes to answer your questions all about the course and the paralegal career field. So be sure to drop your questions down in the Q&A feature below, and either one of our enrollment counselors working in the background here will get back to you directly, or we'll respond during the live Q&A. With that, I'm going to introduce Stephanie from the Center for Legal Studies, who will get our presentation started today. Take it away, Stephanie.
Thank you, Emily, and thank all of you for joining us today. We're going to go over the agenda very quickly. Some ground rules first. Everyone that's here today is because they are interested in learning about the Advanced Paralegal Certificate with the Center for Legal Studies. We do have Q&A open. We also will do a live Q&A at the end of this presentation. So when you submit questions, keep them relevant, be kind. We do reserve the right to remove people that are not. We are going to discuss our online learning support system, how the instruction works, how peer interaction works, a little bit about the course overview, learning outcomes, course topics, the enrollment process itself, and some just very basic things about this program, how it differs from others that we might offer. So before we dig into the advanced paralegal, I want to talk a little bit about the Center for Legal Studies itself. The Center for Legal Studies is a training company. We are an educational partner with accredited colleges and universities throughout the country. We have been training legal support staff in particular since 1980. We're in our 40th year, so we've been doing this for quite some time. We pride ourselves on being able to provide affordable training that is flexible. Most of our students, they've got full-time jobs, they've got families, they've got a lot of things going on in their life. So our most popular format is our online delivery, which we're going to spend a lot of time digging into today. In addition to it being affordable and flexible, it needs to be relative. The Center for Legal Studies programs are not like degrees where you'll be in school for 2 to 4 years. These are short job skill training programs, and they are specifically designed to teach you practical, applicable job skills. Things that when you get out in the world, you're going to be able to put to use right away. We've got more than just this advanced program we're going to talk about today. Many of you in attendance or watching this video may have already taken our paralegal certificate. That is the prerequisite to taking this program. The paralegal certificate really does provide a very broad foundation. This program today, Advanced Paralegal, will allow you to specialize in very specific areas of the law. We also have other courses that you may choose to look at after completion with this or in conjunction with this. Things like advanced legal research and writing, software essentials. We do some medical legal consultant courses, legal nurse consultant, medical legal consultant. We have legal secretary courses, legal investigation, a lot of others that you certainly can take a look at our website to view. These courses are all designed and updated to remain on pace with the current industry, and we do meet the highest requirements in the country, which in regards to paralegals will be California, and we're going to talk about that in depth as well. Our online delivery for all of our online classes. First and foremost, these online classes are 100% online. You are never required to physically go to the campus. We work with almost 200 colleges and universities nationwide, and you would, upon enrollment, end up designating one of those schools because that's who will issue your certificate upon completion. However, you do not physically have to go to the school. It is a very easy to use platform, very intuitive. We do have samples that you can look at on our website if this is your first visit. Many of you have already taken some of our courses, so you're familiar with that. And those of you that haven't, you can always speak with one of our enrollment counselors. They'll give you a guided tour and some links to be able to view that on your own. But in the meantime, the online delivery does provide 24/7 access for our students. And there's videos that are uploaded throughout your courses. There's printed tutorials available. In regards to the 24/7 access, basically what that means is through a 7-week session, which our academic calendar is divided into, you have 24/7 access from the day class starts until it ends. You are never required to be logged on at any particular time of day. Instructors typically post what written and reading assignments are on Monday mornings. Deadlines tend to be at the end of the week, either Sunday night, sometime over the weekend. You manage your own schedule. You can log on at 5 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 9 o'clock at night. It really doesn't matter. That is something that is entirely within your control. We do provide at the Center for Legal Studies ongoing administrative and technical support for all of our students. Our courses are instructor-led. You do have opportunities to communicate with classmates. So the way that works, our instructors are professionals, just like many of you. They have full-time jobs. We employ full-time attorneys, high-ranking paralegals to teach our courses. Not only are they professional, they also have teaching experience. But because they are currently working out in the field, they keep regular office hours. They let their students know when those are. So we've got that 24/7 email tool where you can communicate to your instructor if you've got a question, if you have something you need clarified, if you need to make a comment to them. And they usually respond within 24 to 48 hours. If you need something that is a little more pressing or you want some one-on-one time, you can look at what that instructor's office hours may be. They let students know at the beginning of a course. You can set an appointment with them, or you can send your email during that time frame in which you may get a speedier response. The discussion boards are built for you to be able to communicate with your classmates. Every week, you'll have a bulletin board discussion that you are required to participate in. Once you respond to that, you'll be able to view the other students' comments. A lot of times those are going to turn into a chat, so you can communicate that way. And we have had students that choose to communicate outside of class with other classmates. Weekly assignments are specifically designed to keep you on track. The advanced topics you take within this program are 7 weeks each. In order to complete that advanced program, you're going to take 6. We'll talk about that in a couple of slides. But bottom line of the interaction is from instruction to student and accomplishing the certificate itself. It's all designed for busy individuals. The Advanced Paralegal Certificate. So the U.S. Department of Labor puts out an educational handbook, or occupational handbook, sorry about that, every year. And right now, if you were to go to that website and pull up paralegal and the skills associated with it, you'd see that they are quoting an increase of 15% in the profession and the need for professionals over the next 10 years. We think this is a great thing. The more jobs that become available, the more specialists they need. This program can help you stand out in that field. It's going to help you to increase your earning potential and specialize in very specific areas of the law. We talked about the paralegal certificate is going to give you your very broad foundation. This program is going to let you develop your professional skills on a much higher level in very specific areas. The more skills you have, the more valuable you are to your employer, and the more chances you have to grow in your career. On the Center for Legal Studies website, legalstudies.com, if you haven't found it already, you will find that there is a syllabus for every single course we offer. Those are incredibly comprehensive documents. They go over all the learning objectives. Before you ever register for a course, you can see exactly what is taught in that program. We want to make sure what you choose to take is a fit for you. So please take time to look over the syllabi for each advanced topic that we talk about today to determine which ones not only you're passionate about, but that you also feel will help to make you more marketable in the marketplace. The grades are the same for all of our courses. This is no different. The Center for Legal Studies requires a 70% or better on every assignment that you do. That is not meant to be punitive. It's meant to make you good at all the skills. We do not do cumulative grading because you can't be really good at some things and not so good at others. You need to be competent in all of the skills so that when you let your employer know you have this additional training or when you're going to change jobs, that you are fully competent. We do not grant extensions. There are certain time frames for courses, and these are each 7 weeks apart. Now, barring extenuating circumstances and true emergency crisis, those can be dealt with on a one-on-one basis, in which you would deal with our operations and online department. But as a whole, expect to finish each one of these topics in a single 7-week term. You should plan on anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a week. Now, when we get to the advanced paralegal that we're talking about today, I've got kind of a scenario. Many of you have already taken the paralegal certificate, so you understand how your workload was through that course. The gauge that I typically give students is, if you took our paralegal course, or any one of our courses for that matter, and now you're planning to do this, here's how you gauge your time. If you got 90 and above in your previous course, and your life was perfectly manageable, then you should be able to take 3 topics at a time. If you were scoring in the 80 to 90 range and your life was getting kind of hectic and crazy, you need to scale it back to 2 at a time. If you were having trouble meeting grades and you were literally pulling your hair out through your paralegal course, you need to scale back and go through this program taking 1 at a time. That gauge is not for everybody, but it does give a little bit more insight into how you work, because you know your study habits, you know your time management skills, and you know what you're capable of. Upon completion of this program, students are going to have all kinds of individual specialized skills, and those are really based on which topics you choose, which in a couple of slides, we're going to go over which topics are available. But we do have things like advanced legal research as a choice, where you might have gotten to tip your toes into Westlaw and legal research in your paralegal certificate. This new advanced topic is going to dig deeper. It's the next step on that particular skill. If you are interested in immigration law or family law or business law, bankruptcy law, you may have gotten a taste of how to do some of those legal documents in your paralegal certificate, but this course is to take the next step, to really hone down into that particular topic, gain advanced skills. These are the topics to choose from. The Advanced Paralegal Certificate course is comprised of 16 specialty topics of law. In order for you to earn this certificate, you need to complete 6 of them. Now, our online calendar at the Center for Legal Studies is divvied out into 6 7-week sessions per year. Every course that we have is available every session. Now, with these advanced topics, you need to complete 6. We allow students to take them 1, 2, or 3 at a time. How many you can take at a time is what I mentioned just a few moments ago. If you've already taken our courses, you know how much work they're going to take you. You know how much time it's going to take you. It's a very personal type of thing. The 8 to 12 hours is a very generalized number that is posted on our website, but we do believe that everyone's an individual and everyone's a little bit different. So take your gauge from the scale I mentioned earlier, and if you're not sure, you can always start off with 1 or 2, and the next session take 3, and then pick up your last. We allow students to schedule the completion of their advanced topics in a very flexible nature. You have 12 months to complete the 6 you need to earn this certificate. Now, most of our California students, which again we'll talk about in a moment, they're required to take this program. The rest of the nation, it's a voluntary measure. California students tend to take them 3+3 because they want to get them done. They have to get them done. But realistically, you do have the ability to schedule flexibly in this program. You can take 1 or 2 topics, skip a session, take 2 more. However you want to manage it within those 6 sessions, you've got 12 months. Your clock starts ticking when you take the first one, and your clock will expire 12 months from that date. Topics that are on, let's back up one slide. Emily, I want to talk about those for just a moment. Each one of these skills, advanced legal research, that is going to require a Westlaw agreement subscription. None of the other topics do, because that one specifically does advanced legal research. The other topics, just like any course we offer, as a student for CLS, you have the opportunity to purchase Westlaw. The other topics do not require it as a material, but it is certainly your prerogative to purchase if you choose. Each one of these topics is 7 weeks in length. Each one of these topics is available every single term. The list, I'm not going to read to you. I'm going to let you guys all take a look at that and read it for yourself. It's also available on our website. So feel free to view the individual syllabus for each on the website. So what I just mentioned is in print there. I want to take this slide to explain the California Business and Profession Code. California is the only state in our country that actually has regulations for paralegal training. Students that intend to continue living or intend to work in the state of California are required to be in compliance with the California Business and Professions Code 6450. Basically, that code dictates how many hours you must invest in your training. And those hours must be in substantive legal training. All of our courses qualify for those hours. Now, the code reads you need 24 semester units or 360 clock hours. Our courses are calculated in the clock hours. Each 7-week topic is equivalent to 45 clock hours. So if you've earned your paralegal certificate with us, you knew that took 14 weeks, 2 7-week sessions, you've already banked toward this code 90 clock hours. You still need 270. So 6 topics at 45 clock hours apiece is going to give you the 270 plus the 90, magic number, 360 clock hours. You are in compliance. Now, there are no California Business and Professions Code police running around to make sure you're in compliance. However, the licensed attorney that you are working for is required to ensure that if they're going to bill you as a paralegal, you are in compliance. People that are working in the legal industry are expected to uphold the law. So if you feel that you have an exception to this rule, that's not something we're going to determine for you. It's something you need to go to the licensed attorney you are working for and deal with them. The majority of all students coming here that are going to work in California need to complete the paralegal certificate and the advanced paralegal certificate. Now, if you're not in California and you're looking at this program, smart move. Congratulations. Approximately 50% of our students nationwide that complete paralegal do take at least some of our topics or all 6 topics to earn this advanced certificate. The reason they do that is because it makes them more marketable. Again, it's back to that saying, the more skills you have, the more valuable you are. The more valuable you are, the higher rate of pay you are subject to earn, and the better your chances when you're going out to seek employment. As far as enrolling in our courses, at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that the Center for Legal Studies works with almost 200 accredited college and universities nationwide. This is a small sampling of some of the schools we work with. Now, there may or may not be one in your neck of the woods on the screen right now, but I encourage you to take a peek at our website at legalstudies.com. You can very easily, in the top right-hand corner on the home page, there's a Find a Course box. You can just put in there Advanced Paralegal and then put your state, click search. It's going to populate which schools we work with in your area. It is the Center for Legal Studies recommendation that if we have a school in the area in which you live, which you intend to be working, that's the wise choice. Your certificate is going to be issued upon your completion from this school. So it's nice to have it from a local, well-known name. As far as enrolling in our courses, for the most part, you can do that on our website. We do have partner schools wherein you would register on their website. But when you go through our site, you select the course that you want to take, you select the school, you get to that page, you scroll down to where it says online option, and you click that, or you're putting in the school that you want to take. It's going to tell you either add to cart or contact school to register. If it says contact school to register, there'll be a phone number there for you. There'll also be a box with a link that will take you to their site where you can actually pay your tuition and register. The Center for Legal Studies is still going to be the one providing your training. It's just a matter of how the financial arrangements with that individual partner work. We do accept registrations directly on our website for approximately 80% of our partner schools. So most likely you will be able to find it right there. The tuition on these advanced topics is $400 per topic, times 6, $2,400. The required books for these topics are really going to vary. There are 16 topics, and I believe the current number is probably about 10 of them. All use a Nutshell series book, and they run about $40, $45 for that one book. A few topics don't require books at all, and then there's a few topics that have some more expensive books. I did mention to you that Westlaw is required for advanced legal research. That is the only topic that requires that added tool. We have several payment options available at the Center for Legal Studies. One of the most common these days is our Affirm payment plan. We do work with a third party. Affirm takes care of many big box stores that you may have heard of, like Wayfair, things like that. It's a very reputable company, and it's very handy on our site. It's really easy. Once you put your course into your shopping cart, add your books, it'll be right there on the checkout screen. Quick click, it's going to bring up a little form. It'll probably take you about a minute and a half to fill out. It's a soft hit on your credit, not a hard hit. So once you do that, fill out that information, within a minute or two, they're going to come back to you with a decision. If you are approved for a payment plan, they will literally spell out on the screen for you what those payments would be in either 3, 6, 12, up to 18-month payments. You can, at that point in time, choose whether or not you want to accept a payment plan or simply check out with a credit card. It's that easy. The Affirm payment plan does allow for single qualifiers, but it does also allow for cosigners if that is something that you may be in need of. The Westlaw subscription, most of you have had access to legal research. Many of you have already taken our paralegal certificate, so you know that that is a 7-week subscription. The current rate on our Westlaw subscription is $89. You must be registered for a course to get that subscription rate, and it does give you access to everything that you need to be able to complete assignments within that particular course that you're taking. The support and training, IT, things like that, our students do have access to Westlaw research attorneys, Westlaw tech support, and there is a dedicated webinar for training for CLS students. So if it happens to be your first time using Westlaw with us and that you're choosing to take advanced legal research, there is plenty of support available to you. As far as enrollment, you can do that directly on our website at www.legalstudies.com. If you have additional questions, we're going to go to Q&A here in a few moments, and I'm going to answer as many of your questions as we've got time for. But if you have questions we're unable to answer here today, then I do recommend you give our toll-free number, 800-522-7737, a call. We have enrollment counselors available from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and they're happy to assist you. You can also send an email to info@legalstudies.com. We'll fix this typo, put a U in there on that slide before we republish it. But info@legalstudies.com is where you can send any inquiries that you might have that you just want to shoot an email and get a written response back. Our next online session begins on October 19th, 2020. We encourage you to register soon. Enrollment is open, and we would love to have you join us.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. As we said, we're going to answer some of your questions here live. If you have a question, please put it in the Q&A feature. And again, we'll either respond directly or live on the webinar, or you can always follow up after the webinar, as Stephanie said. We've got quite a few questions already. So Stephanie, our first question is there any continuing education needed to keep my certificate valid after earning it?
There is not, officially. Your employer may want you to get more training, to move up. It's always a good idea to stay current in the field, and we do have other courses that you may choose to take, but on an official capacity, paralegal is an unregulated profession. So it's not like human resources or teaching, where you are required to get so many units every year. This is unregulated. Once you meet the requirements of California for the code, if that is so your goal, you're not required to continue on an official capacity, purely voluntary.
Great, thank you. You kind of touched on this, but just to clarify again, does someone need to take all 6 course topics, or can they just take 1 or 2 that they're interested in?
You can just take a few. Okay, the difference is going to be whether or not you get the certificate upon completion. We do have students that come in and maybe they've earned a paralegal certificate elsewhere. I do want to touch on that. I don't know if the question's coming up, but this course does have a prereq. So you either need to have completed our paralegal certificate, someone else's paralegal certificate, or worked in the capacity of a paralegal for 1 to 2 years in order to qualify to take this advanced program. Now, taking 6 completes this advanced program and earns you an advanced certificate. If you only want to take 1 or 2 topics, not do all 6, of course you can. Absolutely. The difference will be you're not going to earn individual certificates. But when you take the training, you own that education. It's yours. You add it to the education section of your resume and go out and utilize it. You may decide later that you want to come back and take more and earn the full advanced certificate. You still got 12 months to do that, but you can take them 1 or 2 and be done. That is certainly your choice. You just won't earn individual certificates for them.
Thank you. Speaking of the core paralegal class, someone is currently a student in that class, so they're curious when they can start taking the advanced courses.
When you finish your core training, your paralegal certificate, although your certificate won't be issued because there's a lot of administrative work that goes on with CLS and then the school that's actually issuing it. So you're looking about 6 to 8 weeks to receive that document. However, that does not mean you need to delay registration into this program. As soon as you finish your paralegal certificate and toward the last day of class, you're going to know whether or not you passed. At that point in time, you're eligible to go ahead and register for the advanced. We double check the system to make sure that you've completed, but you will know whether or not you passed. And if you have, by all means, you are welcome to enroll in the advanced program.
Thank you. We have a question from someone interested in both the core paralegal certificate course and advanced paralegal, and they're curious if the courses are the same in each state or if they differ state to state.
We teach on a federal level. However, so the curriculum itself is not state specific, but the assignments that you do within that program very much are. Because our students are nationwide, all the core basic skills are going to be federal law. But when you have a specific assignment assigned to you, you will be expected to use your jurisdiction to complete that assignment. So you're going to get both federal and state.
Thank you. A clarifying question on the estimated 8 to 12 hours a week. Is that on each topic that someone should dedicate that much time, or total if they're taking, say, 3 topics at a time?
So the gauge I gave a little bit earlier was that if you already took our paralegal, and this is for our experienced students, if you were able to take the paralegal certificate and you were in that 90 to 100 range and your life was perfectly manageable, then I don't know how long that took you in a given week, but based on those scores and you feeling comfortable with the load, then you can handle 3 topics. If you're in that 80 to 90 range, then life was kind of crazy, cut it back to 2. If you were really struggling to keep up with your studies and it was taking you a long time in paralegal, then I would recommend you take them 1 at a time. Now, whether that is, 2 or 3 hours a week per topic, or it's 8 to 12 in total per week, everybody's a little bit different. So if you're really not sure about that, I would recommend that, you start off somewhere in the middle. Start with 2.
Great, thank you. We have someone who currently lives in New York but is planning on moving to Maryland in the next year. Would you recommend they take a course in their current state of New York or in Maryland?
That is certainly your prerogative. Take a look at your resume and how it reads. If you have lots of other education and training and you are literally going to be looking for a brand new job in Maryland like right away, then maybe you want to choose a school in the new state. You're going to get the same training either way. So it doesn't matter. Again, it's all in who's going to issue your certificate. But if you're not planning to move for 6 months to a year down the road, then I would say choose a school in the state in which you reside currently.
Great, thank you. For our California students, can you reiterate and explain the clockwork hours for compliance?
Absolutely. So the California Business and Profession Code, under how we comply with the code at the Center for Legal Studies, is that a student has 24 semester units or 360 clock hours. A 7-week course here is 45 clock hours. So if you're making some notes, One 7-week class equals 45 clock hours. You need a grand total of 360. So 14 weeks in paralegal was 90 clock hours, 45 plus 45. And then 6 times 45 is going to be 270. 90 and 270 is going to be the 360. The magic piece of that is to remember 7 weeks equals 45 clock hours, and that you need a grand total of 360. If you want us to email you that information, you can send an email to info@legalstudies. They've got it pre-drafted into a template they can email out to you. You can also call one of our enrollment counselors. If you haven't already spoken to one, they'll set you up as a new student with a file and be happy to email it to you as well, or go over those numbers in a one-on-one case for you. Okay.
Great, thank you, Stephanie. Upon graduation, do you have any advice on where someone can look for a job as a paralegal?
Absolutely. We advise that our students look a little bit of everywhere. You know, paralegals work in law firms. Everybody knows that. It is not the only place they work. Paralegals work in every major corporation. They've all got legal departments. The banking industry, insurance companies, government agencies, the court systems, real estate, private enterprise, private business. There's also freelance paralegals. Whenever I mention freelance, I always want to qualify that by when you're taking one of our courses, our instructors will very clearly tell you what you can and cannot do with or without the supervision of an attorney. If it is your intention to do freelance work, pay particular attention to those parts of the courses, because you're going to need to know that. And the instructors are there to help you. They know those guidelines and parameters. But as far as when you go out to look for a job, you want to look everywhere. You know, major job boards, network, talk to people you know, use networking sites, things like LinkedIn, Facebook. Craigslist is a great place to look for jobs. Employers who don't have a huge advertising budget are going to advertise openings there. LinkedIn allows you to upload your resume. Our instructors, upon your request, will review your resume and cover letter for you. If you're going to take advantage of that perk, make sure you do it toward the end of your class when you're close to completing, and you need to ask. They're not going to volunteer it. You need to ask them, and they'll be happy to do it for you. It's just something you need to take the initiative to have done. We also have a careers page on our website where employers have hired our graduates in the past. They love them. They love how qualified they are. They hit the ground running. Every time those groups, agencies, companies, firms have an opening, they advertise with us. That's on a careers page on our website. And the reason they advertise with us is because they know our students come ready to go.
Thank you, Stephanie. Can you reiterate again the prerequisites for taking the advanced topics? And can you clarify if it's necessary to have previously worked in a legal office or the legal field?
You do not have to previously have worked in a legal field. If you're just completing the paralegal certificate, you can certainly go on and take the advanced now. The prereq guidelines for you to take our advanced paralegal certificate that we're talking about today are that you have earned a paralegal certificate. Now, whether that be ours at the Center for Legal Studies or you earned it elsewhere, that's okay, as long as you have one. You don't, I mentioned earlier that you can go straight from your paralegal program to this. You don't, with us, you don't need to have the document in hand. Okay, you just need to have successfully completed the program. We'll have it on file and know that you have. So that is one way. Another way is to be trained somewhere else and be able to send that in proof that you have earned a certificate elsewhere. The third is that you have been employed as in the capacity of a paralegal for 1 to 2 years. Now, that doesn't mean that you were just working as a law clerk or a legal secretary or some other capacity in the law firm. You need to have actually worked in the capacity of a paralegal to qualify and have the prerequisite waived so you could take this advanced program. But it's not necessary that you've worked. Having your certificate, having that core paralegal training is sufficient to take this program. This is the next step after earning that core certificate.
Great, thank you, Stephanie. So as someone who's seen a lot of paralegal students throughout the years, we have kind of a general question for you. What's the best advice you would offer a future paralegal student to be successful in this course?
I would say continue your training. Absolutely get out there and look for employment that is going to provide you a career to grow in, but the more training you have, the more valuable you are, and the more respect you gain from your employer to be able to show that you've got skills that they need. And when you're choosing the topics themselves, don't strictly look at them for marketability. I mean, if it was a course or a topic that wasn't marketable, we're not going to offer it. But when you're choosing the 6 out of 16 you want to take, choose things that you love. Choose things you're passionate about, because then your work is going to be much more fulfilling.
Great, thank you, Stephanie. We have a question from someone that just wants to clarify, when their certificate is it issued from the school or from the Center for Legal Studies? What appears on that certificate?
Certificates are issued by our partner schools. Every partner school that we work with is an accredited institution. They vet our curriculum on an annual basis. Most of the schools we have been working with for many, many, many years. And so the certificate will come from them, not us. They are a school, we are a training company. We work in partnership together. So your certificate will absolutely come from the school. And when you go and look up, we do recommend, look at all the schools that we work with, we recommend that you choose the one that is in your geographic area, if available. We are currently partners with schools, and we do work through the continuing and professional education departments at those schools.
Great, thank you, Stephanie. We just have a few more minutes left for our webinar today, but I think we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. We have a student who is going to finish the core paralegal course on October 9th. So does that mean that they could start on the October 19th start date, or when can they start?
Absolutely. When you complete your course October 9th, if you know that you passed, you're eligible to register for this program. Absolutely. You could register today for this program. Worst case scenario, if you ended up failing your second term, then we're going to push your enrollment out and allow you to fix what you needed to fix to get a passing score. If, worst case scenario that I do not foresee happening for you, you were to fail, but you'd already pre-registered for the advanced program, we would refund your money. Most likely, if you fail one assignment between now and the start of advanced program, you're going to have an opportunity to redo that assignment to achieve that passing score, and you'll be right on track. If a crisis were to occur and we needed to push out your start date to January versus October 19th, we work with students on a one-on-one basis. Our rules here are set for the majority, but when a crisis occurs, we work with you on a one-on-one basis. Everyone's an individual. Everyone's a little bit different. But as far as if you're in completing your paralegal right now, you should be fully ready to go toward advanced on the 19th of October.
Great, thank you, Stephanie. With that, we're going to close out the webinar here. Thank you to everyone for attending today. If you have any further questions we didn't get to during the webinar, again, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at the phone number or email on the screen. Our enrollment counselors are available, as Stephanie said, and they're ready to help you. We'll be sending out the video recording of this webinar if you would like to watch it back, so please look out for that in your inbox by the end of the week. As mentioned, our next course session begins on Monday, October 19th. So now is the perfect time to visit legalstudies.com and enroll today. Thank you all again, and a special thank you to Stephanie for your time. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, guys.